this is where it gets interesting. Did you see this, Shanae? The Cavs, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Magic, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Spurs.
Oh, wow.
Clippers.
They round out the top 10. This is the next 3 years, remember. One outlier, the Timberwolves. They've gone to 2 straight Western Conference Finals, and Rudy Gobert, he was on the Young Man in the 3 podcast, and he talked about being so close to reaching the finals. Take a listen.
I mean, biggest perspective is that we were right there.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously we were right a step below the NBA Finals for 2 years in a row. So it's frustrating because that doesn't happen, you know, in a career. It's not something that happens all the time. But at the same time, it shows that we've been able to do it over and over, and that we're creating something special. And I think that's really what it's about for us, is that, you know, what do we need to really be able to take that next step?
It's tough to be sort of knocking on the door right there and 2 years in a row have the same result, getting bounced in the conference finals when you're so close. Pau, you've been there. How do they take the next step?
Well, they gotta obviously, it's a mindset. I think you got to start off the season with the right mindset going into it. It's not just about, obviously, you want to get to the conference finals, but ultimately you got to desire and act every single day like you're going to win the championship. And it starts with your top player. It starts with, obviously, with Anthony Edwards. And as I love his confidence, I love his swagger. He can play like anybody out there, but he has to do it every single night, and he has to lead this team in a way that he carries everybody over. Obviously, they have a tough challenge, tough task. Great teams in the West. OKC, obviously, a step above. But they have great players. I love their defensive presence. I think Julius will continue to thrive. McDaniel's a great player. Dante is a great player coming off the bench. They see if the youth continues to develop in their team. Everybody has to contribute and chip in.
Look, we're talking about the Wolves taking the next step. They've taken massive steps for a franchise that had been out of the first round once before these last couple of years. But it's not a step. They got smoked in the conference finals. That was not a competitive series. The Oklahoma City Thunder are a roster full of ascending talent, including their MVP. I mean, this is not a step. It is a triple jump to be able to catch up to the Thunder for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Ant is an ascending talent. There's a lot of meat left on the bone for him. But let's not act like they're that close, because the Thunder are clearly a better franchise.
I wouldn't say that they're that far, though, because they have, as Pau listed, good pieces. It's about putting those pieces together in a way that works. And what I'll say is, you mentioned SGA. Ant has potential to be an MVP if we're talking about this future forecast of power teams, right? I think we're starting to see, and we all love Ant because he's like a little brother, the little brother that can actually beat you one-on-one. We've seen him take down titans of the game. He emulated Steph and led the NBA in most made threes. I think 320 made threes over the course of the season. He came in with that out-of-this-world athleticism. Next is the mid-range game. That he will help him unlock more aspects of his game. And that will take pressure off of everyone else. But I do believe that everyone has to raise their game because there were inconsistencies over the course of the season with their production. Nas, you wanted more from him in the postseason.
Right.
Julius had great spurts, but like you need that to be impactful in certain areas. So I think they have the potential, but they have to make these pieces work right, and it all depends on their development, and he's at the head of that.
Right, and what is it? What is the mentality that everybody cites, every player, over and over again? What's the mentality that everyone says?
Mamba mentality.
Mamba mentality. It's a good thing that we have Pau here to maybe give us a little bit of insight into whether or not Ant has that sort of mentality of taking that next step here.
Yeah, I mean, when I talked to him actually a couple years ago in the World Championships in Manila, he said he followed Kobe and he admired Kobe and the Mamba mentality. He has desire to be the best. He's still very young, but now he's also getting to that next step and stage of his career where he has to prove a little more and give a little more at all levels. Not just scoring, but let's do a little more on the defensive end. Let's do a little more leading and challenging and holding my teammates accountable and getting the best out of them on a daily basis, in practice, at games, all across. So that's what I'm expecting. That's what I want to see from Ant.
Sometimes you need to have a little bit of that heartbreak. They've had it in back-to-back years in very, very similar ways. And so can they use that with this roster as presently constructed to push Oklahoma? That's the triple jump you're talking about.
Minnesota.